May I please get the bouquet on the stage? Thank you. Good job, everyone. Again. Thank you. And applause, please. Thank you. Can we give them a round of applause for supporting? Thank you so much.
STPI, he has been with Telecom Regulatory Authority of India since 2004. As advisory of TRAI, he has worked on various subjects such as broadband, data security and privacy issues, manufacturing, DTH, IPTV, TV broadcasting and OTT.
Today's chief guest and Secretary to Government of India, in Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, S. Krishnan ji. Joint Secretary in Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Shri Sushil Pal ji. Chairman TIE Delhi NCR and co-founder Indian Angel Network, Dr. Saurabh Srivastava ji. Co-founder Indian Technologies and President TIE Delhi, Shri Alok Mittal ji. Prem, Managing Partner Contact. Executive Vice President Investor Relations, Shri Ashok Singh ji, my colleague Manjusa. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to heartily welcome each and everybody sitting in this room. Just to brief why we have curated this program. In fact, last year we launched a program called Building the Next Unicorn, Mission to USA. And this program has three-tier approach. We have conducted pitching session across the country. We have covered 10 states. We selected a startup which has potential to global. Then we have national conclave here in Delhi, which has been inaugurated by Cabinet Minister sometime, I think in November 2022 itself. Then those 33 startups which has been selected from National Conclave, they visited USA. 29 startups went physically and 4 have joined pitch session virtually. Investors from USA appreciated the very basic problem-solving approach displayed by the startups. For social cause and shows their inclination for future times. The objective of that very startup initiative got fulfilled, But we found somewhere when I visited USA, later part, which is sometime in May, and I met lot of investors there. They told though we got very good problem solving approach by the startups. They have lot of energy, their ideas are good. But anyhow, those 25 startups could not get attraction, they could not get any lead. Just perhaps they need more mentorship. They are generally from tier 2, tier 3 cities. Which is lacking is mentorship, and that is precisely the reason we have curated this program, which is focused on two things. One is more on mentorship and another is co-investment. Further to brief, we have launched a program called Next Generation Incubation Scheme, which is meant for tier 2, tier 3 cities. 12 cities, this program is being run by STPI. Here we have programs called Chunotis. We select through Open Challenge program, various startups. Then we fund through a fund manager, 25 lakh rupees to each startup. Further invested follow-on fund by our fund manager. And this scheme we are running since around 2 years. To make that scheme very and more useful for the startup, we are going to launch this program. It is called Leap Ahead. Before telling more about the Leap Ahead, let us see what the STPI strength is. We have 63 centers across the country. Out of that, 55 centers are in tier 2, tier 3 cities. We are running 22 domain-specific center for entrepreneurship, which is from AR, VR, artificial intelligence, blockchain, ESDM, IoT. The all 22 center for entrepreneurship is being run by STPI across the country, so that these domain-specific center for entrepreneurs has been created by MIT, so that not only that a startup gets benefit from their own idea, they also have good peer learning in their growth stage.
Thank you very much for showcasing that. Definitely it is something which is 360 degrees a look into the NGIS and its stellar achievements. I would now request Mr. Alok Mittal to address the audience. Mr. Alok Mittal is the co-founder for INDIFI, a platform for enabling debt financing for small businesses, the Indus Entrepreneurs Delhi NCR. Please put your hands together and let's welcome Alok on the stage.
Secretary Mr. Krishnan, dear Sushilji, Arvindji, my esteemed colleagues and partners from the startup ecosystem. It's an absolute honor to be here, and I'm very excited about the launch of this program. I think one thing that appeals to me really about this is how Arvind described that STPI has done stuff in this area before, and last year we launched a program which in some measure was not successful. I think that delights me. The spirit that something is not as successful as we wanted it to be, but we have the resilience to come back, reimagine this, and take another shot at it, I think is at the core of entrepreneurship. And I'm amazed to see that happen, in the government system. As private sector entrepreneurs, we are used to failing and rising again. But if this is the kind of support that we can see come from STPI, from MeitY, I think we will get this right. TIE itself has had the ethos of going and enabling ecosystems before their end. Globally, TIE started more than 30 years back, when the support for entrepreneurship globally was not as forthcoming, especially for Indian entrepreneurs globally, which was at that point an excluded audience. Today, we have 15,000 members across 56 chapters in 14 countries. 1999 is when TIE Delhi NCR and TIE India was established. At that time, there was very little support for Indian entrepreneurs in India, especially the brand of entrepreneurs that we identify with today, that all of you represent and support. Today, we have 22 chapters in India, and it has been our inclination to keep going to sectors and geographies where there is meaningful ecosystem development role to be conducted. So again, this program ties in very well with what TIE stands for. As part of this, we will identify 75 companies that will go through a 3-month mentorship program. We've been running a venture studio format now for about 10 years, where we take entrepreneurs through this program. Many of the cities that are supported by STPI, we will conduct 3 startup summits. So the spillover effects of this kind of a program go much beyond just the entrepreneurs that we will directly support. And at TIE Delhi NCR, we feel privileged to have this opportunity of working with STPI in furthering this program. As I mentioned, we are 22 chapters of TIE in Delhi, in India, and to that extent, we are really bringing the collective power of all the chapters of TIE to bear in execution of this program. We hope this is start of a great collaboration. As I said, I'm sure we will stumble, but I'm sure we will. And India will be known not as a country with 3 or 4 startup hubs, but literally with dozens of startup hubs, and a place where aspirations of any entrepreneur, regardless of where they are based, regardless of which community or gender they come from, they have the adequate support to fulfill it. So thank you so much for providing us with this opportunity, and we look forward to it.
Secretary Krishna, Mr. Arvind Kumar, members of the dais and friends, thank you very much for calling me here today. And it is always a pleasure to be at any event which relates to STPI. And there's a reason for that. And I'll take you back because STPI has been involved in nurturing and supporting entrepreneurship now for over 3 decades. So most of us all know, in 88, around the time that I co-founded NASSCOM, it used to take us over a year to get the necessary permissions to start a company. So Mr. Vittal, who was the Indian secretary of what was then MeitY and later the CBC, he had the vision of creating STPI. And he invited me and a few others, members from NASSCOM board, to design what STPI should be. And then he implemented it. Today, that industry which was $55 million in 88 is $250 million. STPI is the single most important reason. And I continue to be involved with STPI, chairing, being chief mentor for many of the centers of excellence. But the other thing I salute STPI for is with the software services industry, the original startup industry, having solved its issues, it reinvented itself to look at supporting entrepreneurship across a much wider range of, technologies, products, all kinds of things. And it has been doing a phenomenal job. And so I'm delighted to be here for that reason. I'm also delighted to be here because, when you want a startup revolution, founders alone cannot do it. They need a supportive ecosystem. This is the reason why Silicon Valley is successful today. And that's what STPI has been doing. Over the last 7-8 years, the government has become very supportive and has done a slew of enabling policies, a fund of funds, many other things to create that ecosystem. But government alone cannot create that ecosystem. We need the private sector as well. And that's why I'm delighted that today STPI is tying up with TIE. TIE is another body that have been involved from the time of its creation.
Specializes in account management, business development, relationship management, client servicing, fundraising, and investor relations. Mr. Ashok Singh, please welcome and please share your note with the audience.
A very good morning, and firstly, thanks to STPI and TIE for having me here. I firmly believe that India currently is at the junction which China was 10 years back and what the Silicon Valley was 20 years back. And we are Mumbai Angels is very proud to partner with STPI for the Leap Ahead program. This is to kind of encourage and promote tech entrepreneurship in the country. Just to give you a little bit of background about Mumbai Angels, we are probably one of the oldest angel investing platforms in the country. We started in 2006. We invest in early stage ventures, typically companies looking to raise anywhere between 1 CR to 3 CR. Most of them would have a tech element because those are easier to scale up. Our portfolio currently consists of over 230 early stage investments and we've got over 100 exits, composite IRR of 37% and 2 unicorns in our portfolio. I think with this partnership with STPI for the Leap Ahead program, we want to kind of commit to foster entrepreneurship and the growth of the overall ecosystem. I think STPI has done a brilliant job in getting together almost all the key players within the ecosystem and some of the ways how they can help startups across the country. I think it's a very common question which I get from a lot of folks. What's the most critical thing a startup requires to succeed? I think the simple term is access. So one is of course access to capital. Secondly is access to mentorship. Then it's access to market. So and then lastly access to infrastructure and talent. I think through this program, STPI along with all my peers in the industry have managed to formulate this. So I'm very glad to be a part of this and looking forward to the next 10 years of growth within the startup ecosystem in the country. Thank you so much.
I would now request Mr. Prem Bhartasarthi, Managing Partner, Contact Ventures Limited, to come on the stage and of course give us a note of his thoughts on it. Just to tell you all about Mr. Prem Bhartasarthi, he founded Contact, the first UK-India innovation fund in history to cross-pollinate technology between UK and India. He defined and executed the overall strategy for Contact I, that is technology transfer from UK to India and vice versa. Prem has fostered partnerships with many private organizations and governments and has been instrumental in Contact's has expansion into India and US. So welcome Prem. We'll be wanting to hear from you.
Members of the dais, investors, potential portfolio companies, existing portfolio companies, welcome. Mankind is a very unique race. A race which is on a constant race to become the next big thing. Now, let me give an example. Centuries ago, we traded rice, wheat, black pepper as a barter system. But then how do you value one commodity with the other? That led to the generation of coins. They made their foray in. And long before money started losing its value, the coins started adding weight into our pockets. Then came the next evolution, currency in the form of paper, counterfeit notes. As a problem, we evolved to plastic currency, digital wallets, and finally now crypto. So what's important about this transition or this next big thing race is that with every passing moment, mankind was moved to the next phase through innovation at that point in time. Innovation that was prevalent and was relevant at that point in time. Mankind today is in its next stage of evolution, what we call a radical evolution. This radical evolution is delivering progression at pace, is trying to preserve the problems of this very progression that mankind is creating. And at the same time, it's also embracing equality between the people across the world so that we don't have anybody left behind in this race. Now, to put things in context, let's talk about progression. Progression in the field of healthcare. Imagine you are able to diagnose, screen, and predict 110 diseases with 99.3% accuracy in less than 1 minute. Do we have Arcticus? Anybody from Arcticus here? That's one of STPI's portfolio companies on the NDIS program. And that company has not only done that, they've also been able to, they do need kilos, yes. Also being able to identify 4,000 people in the remote tribal villages of India who actually had pulmonary heart disease in less than 2 weeks, screening 10,000 people. That is one of the successes of this program. Again, progression in the field of education. Do we have learning matters here? There you go, Gauri's there. India has got 650,000 villages. 800 million people live in villages, which requires consistent training, consistent education. Now, again, with the global demand for workforce from India being one of the youngest countries in the world, there's a consistent requirement for English. So how do you train English to the students and more so the teachers? Alexa teachers, thanks to Learning Matters, they've been able to identify and train 60,000 students from across the country, and now they're expanding into various states, state by state, working with skill development centers as they move forward. And notwithstanding that, they also have imminent conversations across borders with other developing nations where there is an opportunity to train them. So India for the world. We spoke about progression. Next is preservation. Mankind wanted to preserve water. We built dams. We also wanted to travel and reduce the distance of travel, reduce the time of travel. So what we did, we built over-the-river bridges. But who actually preserves these bridges? Who actually surveys these bridges? Let's not forget, India has got 5,000 dams and 145,000 bridges. Most of it is age old. And to put things in context, in the last 4 decades, pre-2017, the total number of bridges that has collapsed in India alone is 2,314. Thanks to this which is sitting there, my good friend from Croatia Technologies, they are one of the 3 in India who are actually doing underwater unmanned surveillance, and I'm proud to say that actually saved lives, real lives. And we all wanted to go electric. But with electricity and going electric comes the next, in my opinion, next largest form of toxicity, which is batteries. How are we going to preserve batteries? How are we going to kind of ensure they're distributed properly? Thanks to Nexus Power, a company which NGIS has founded, which has actually been able to leverage the crop residue coming out of rice and wheat and high protein crops to be able to create biodegradable batteries. Now, hopefully, when it is all fully commercialized, now they are pre-revenue, moving on to revenue, fully commercialized, when most of us walk out of the Delhi airport, we'll be able to see Delhi signboard. Hopefully. But then comes inclusivity. There are 400 plus million people across the world who are born deaf and dumb. It's not about them integrating with us, it's about we integrating with them. That is very important. So think about Deep Vision, another portfolio company with NGIS founded, or NGIS founded, which is nothing but a Google translator to translate, I beg your pardon, sign language to text and speech and vice versa. In not very wild world, we should be in a position to actually communicate with those people over a Zoom call using sign language with them and we talk a normal language. At the same time, we'll also get to potentially be able to enjoy the Amazon Prime and Netflix of this world, but just a click of a button and the avatars pop up. This is what this program was all about, but these are just snippets of tangible innovations that has been sourced from within the country. However, discovering what I call innovators or enablers of this radical transition across the country when you have 750 plus districts is no mean feat. Right? And how do we do that? That's a mammoth task that STPI has embarked. And that's what they've delivered. To put things in context, you're talking about 6,000 plus applications across the country from across various states, scrutinized left, right and center, sleepless nights. And of that, the investments have actually gone into 23 states out of India. That's a mammoth effort in 2 years. And not only that, we spoke about in the previous meeting, we spoke about bringing in women entrepreneurs from various parts of India. The program has actually helped 30 to 35% of these people come in, and it has been founded. So these are some of the examples, notwithstanding the other success criteria that the success metrics this particular program has delivered. So that is all passed. STPI now is, just like mankind, is on a radical transition. It is leaping to the next stage. It is providing the platform for investors and also innovators like yourself to pronounce a leap of faith and get in there to do the magic, get in there to deliver value to mankind. And I promise we will join with you along the way to deliver value for you, deliver value for mankind as we progress. And before I conclude, as they say, a one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Let's do this together, advance mankind. Together we win, together we grow. Thank you, Jai.
To invite Dr. Devesh Tyagi, Senior Director STPI, and Gitika Dayal as Executive Director TIE Tele NCR, please, to come on the stage. Round of applause to them.
As they will be doing the MOU, we will all cheer for them, and this is very important.
Yes.
Encourage this MOU signing.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Pankaj Thakkar, Paddock Ventures, please come up on the stage. Mr.
So,
Please, thank you. Fantastic.
so. So.
Investors were a powerful and promising start to the path-breaking program. One round of applause for everybody, okay? Thank you. We want to release a report today with the dignitaries on dais, with Shri Parneet Singhal, Director One Lattice, and Shri Subodh Sachan, Director Innovations and Startups STPI on dais. Please, thank you.
Secretary Sir, who the chief guest of today's event, DGSTPI, Mr. Arvind Kumar, Alok Mittal, co-founder NDP, President Delhi NCR, Dr. Saurabh Shrivastava, the Chairman Emeritus Delhi NCR, and fellow investor partners, ladies and gentlemen. I would begin by congratulating STPI for organizing this Leap Ahead Summit, which is a part of the NGIS scheme as such, and specifically tailored to cater to those startups, which are in a growth stage or in a scaling stage, and which are looking to diversify to a larger geographical boundary, and it's tailored to provide a very structured and a high quality mentorship program for the next 3 months to connect them globally. STPI, as we all know, as has been mentioned earlier by speakers, have been playing a very instrumental and pivotal role in ITS export, and has, with the changing time, has metamorphosed into a new role and has emerged as a champion for establishing the startup ecosystem in the country. And rightly so, with its 63 centers, 55 in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, 22 COEs in various emerging startup areas. Our startup has been a great success story for our country, and we have seen exponential growth in the last 7-8 years, and a manifold increase in number of investors, number of incubators, number of the startups who have been able to raise funds. And we have more than 100,000 startups, roughly 108 or 110 unicorns. And what is remarkable is that at a time when we had roughly 1 unicorn coming up in the year 2016-17, we had almost 11 unicorns in 2020, 44 unicorns in 2021, and 2023 2 unicorns in 2022. So this remarkable shift has come because of the various interventions taken by government as such, by establishment of the various digital public infrastructures which government has created through its policy interventions which provide the digital ID platform, enabling the authentication online and doing it remotely, making customer acquisition very easy and also very cost effective, and also enabling various the platform for payments. So what is significant is that 70% of these unicorns have been added in the last 3 years, but then we are not looking at these 110 unicorns, we are looking at many of those thousands of other startups which are very close to become unicorns. As they say, that for every mozart that comes out with the biggest splash early, there are hundreds back which are ascending slowly and will be blooming a bit late though, but they'll be blooming definitely. So we are looking at 100 of those startups like you, which will be emerging as the unicorns in the coming years. And another which is interesting point is that what we've achieved today is largely because of the focus in the tier 1 towns. To name Delhi, Pune, Bangalore, Hyderabad and all, maybe 5-6 towns. And our focus or the success story from the tier 2 and tier 3 town is yet to emerge completely, although it's slowly building up. This ecosystem has many challenges, as have been pointed out by various speakers, like access to funding, to the mentorship, etc., regulatory challenges, product to market fit, customer identification, and our meeting with its interventions, with its scheme, keeps on or try to address to overcome these challenges. NDIS is one of the such incentive wherein 25 lakh of seed funding is provided, and what I saw that the STPI is implementing NGIS through its 12 centers in tier 2, and they have 55 centers in tier 2 towns, and I sincerely hope that this scheme will spread to the rest of the 55 minus 12 centers, and if this scheme has to actually go to the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. We have a scheme called Genesis, which is also focused specifically for tier 2 and tier 3 cities, roughly 500 crores for 5 years, which also provides for the paid up capital as well as the follow-on funding for amount of 240-250 lakh. And
now I invite and I'm sure that we can clap for them. As you can see, they received the check as well. So congratulations to all the 3 winners.
The keynote speaker, Chief Guest Shri S. Krishnan, to come on the stage, please. Thank you to talk about the Leap Ahead program.
Shri Arvind Kumar, Director General STPI, Dr. Saurabh Srivastava, Chairman Emeritus of TIE Delhi NCR and co-founder of the India Angel Network, my colleague in the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Mr. Sushil Pal, Shri Alok Mittal, co-founder of Unifi Technologies and TIE Delhi NCR, Mr. Ashok Singh, Executive Vice President, Mumbai Angels, Mr. Prem Bhattacharya, Managing Partner of Pontrac Ventures India LLP, Ms. Manjusha Chaurasya, again my colleague in the ministry. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to participate in this grand event that STPI has put together this morning. Very timely in terms of emphasizing both the opportunities that lie for entrepreneurship in India, the possibilities of using technology, building on technology, and the manner in which it can contribute to society at large. Today you heard from Dr. Saurabh Srivastava where all this began. Sometimes it's very important to look back to figure out where things began and what the transformation is. If STPI is in a position to support activities of this nature today, it is because of the way it was envisaged and the opportunities that it has created for itself. Equally important is the fact that as things change, as the economy changes, as the nature of the businesses in which they can be involved in changes, there needs to be a change in the role of STPI as well. Today, India is no longer known as a BPO destination or as an outsourcing destination alone. Today, it is known as a destination, which is where we started with STPI. Today, we've evolved from that stage into a place where there are global capability centers, there are R&D centers, there are engineering development centers. We moved up the value chain. And there are a large number of entrepreneurs who can actually take advantage of all the work that has gone before to build on it. Mr. Prem Bhattacharya outlined the possibilities, what some of the companies have actually done and delivered, and the difference that they are able to make to society. The report which has been released today talks about the opportunities that Digital India provides for entrepreneurs. What are the opportunities that can be used by entrepreneurs, can be leveraged by entrepreneurs, on the one hand to build a successful business, and on the other hand to deliver a major success. India stands as a leader in digital public infrastructure across the world. And that digital public infrastructure can now be used in multiple ways by entrepreneurs and others to actually build successful enterprises. India is a valuable example of that. This is available for anything to build on. And while we support technology sectors, while we support entrepreneurs in the technology space, technology supports everything else. A real world business in agriculture, a business in healthcare, a business in education, a business in manufacturing, all of those can be supported by technology today. And the combination of what is available at scale in India is something that we can grow with. But today,
बड़ी इवेंट होगी, उनमें उनको पार्टिसिपेशन का मौका मिलेगा और जिनको इंक्यूबेशन की ज़रूरत है, हमारे यहाँ 63 करीब STPI की लोकेशन है जिसमें इंक्यूबेशन प्रोवाइड करते हैं, वहाँ पे वो इंक्यूबेशन सर्विसेज भी यूज़ कर सकते हैं। 22 हमारी सेंटर फॉर एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप की डोमेन स्पेसिफिक लैब्स हैं और लैब की वो फैसिलिटीज़ को यूज़ कर पाएंगे और वो इस तरह से अपनी जर्नी को शुरू करेंगे। हम लोगों को लगता है एक समय था जब हम स्टार्टअप को सीड फंड देते थे और उनके लिए सीड फंड ही पर्याप्त था। अब आज की डेट में उनके लिए एक्सेस टू मेंटरशिप, एक्सेस टू मार्केट, एक्सेस टू फंड बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो गया है और उनको एक ऐसे फंड की ज़रूरत है जिससे वो थोड़ा ग्रोथ स्टेज पे एक्सेलरेट कर सकें। तो हम लोगों ने यही प्लान किया। अभी तक हम 25 लाख रुपए दे रहे हैं जो कि एक सीड फंड के फॉर्म में दे रहे हैं। तो अब हमारी ज़्यादातर स्टार्टअप इस स्टेज में आ गई हैं, उन्हें ग्रोथ की ज़रूरत है, इसलिए हमने बड़े फंड का प्लान किया।
हमारे भारत का सबसे अहम सवाल ये है कि हमारे बच्चों की जो शिक्षा है वो नौकरशाही में हुई है। हम हमारे बच्चों से ये पूछते हैं कि तुम बड़े होके क्या बनोगे, जबकि हमें उनसे ये पूछना चाहिए कि तुम बड़े होके हमारी कौन सी प्रॉब्लम के लिए क्या क्रिएट करोगे, क्या सॉल्यूशन ढूंढोगे। तो चूंकि हमारे यहाँ पुश्तों से हजारों सालों से ये आता जा रहा है कि हम सर्विस इकोनॉमी में काम कर रहे हैं, चूंकि हम नौकरी पेशा समाज में बड़े हुए और हम उसी को आगे लेके चलते हैं और हम ये मान के चलते हैं कि हमें पढ़ना लिखना और हमें नौकरी करना है। इसीलिए भारत पूरी दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी सर्विस इकोनॉमी है, प्रोडक्ट इकोनॉमी नहीं बन पाई। जब आज का टॉपिक था ये कि हमारे देश को हम प्रोडक्ट ओरिएंटेड नेशन कैसे बना सकते हैं, हम एक प्रोडक्ट बनाने वाला देश कैसे बना सकते हैं। दिमाग है, जो बच्चे हैं उनका एजुकेशन सिस्टम है, हमारी जो संस्कृति है, हमारा जो सर्वाइवल है, हमारी जो प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, उन प्रॉब्लम्स में जब बच्चा बड़ा होता है तो वैसे ही वो बहुत अच्छा स्टडियस्ट निकलता है, वो बहुत परसिस्टेंट होता है, वो बहुत लिमिटेशंस और कॉन्स्टेंट्स में काम करने वाला होता है और सारी मुश्किलों को पार करके वो पढ़ लिख के बड़ा बनता है। लेकिन आप देखेंगे कि इंडिया में जो है वो डॉक्टर कलेक्टर बन जाता है। तो इसलिए होता है क्योंकि माँ बाप और समाज और जो हमारे आसपास के जो लोग हैं उनका थोपा हुआ जो एक शिक्षा का एक स्तर है, स्तर नहीं कहना चाहिए, शिक्षा का जो क्षेत्र वो चूज़ करता है वो अपनी इच्छा से नहीं करता। हमें बच्चों को वो छूट देनी चाहिए कि वो अपनी इच्छा से अपनी चीज़ों को पढ़े।